So ever since 2022 kicked off, we spent a larger fraction of our time focusing on Sonic Origins, Sonic Frontiers, and of course the upcoming Sonic movie sequel, which makes up 75% of the content that's coming up for Sonic this year. The remaining 25% is the upcoming Netflix show Sonic Prime, which has largely went overlooked amid all of these discussions. Now, from the state of my content, some of you might have been thinking to yourself that I'd also forgotten about Sonic Prime, but I assure you, I have not. I've been devoting a lot more thought to it than you might have suspected. Actually, it's kind of hard to forget because every time I think about Sonic Prime, I keep hearing the credits theme for Sonic Underground playing in my head non-stop. Now, having made this admission, I'm probably gonna get some people on my tail because I know Sonic Underground has not been terribly well received from the moment of its inception, but just hear me out. The reason why I've lately been linking the credits theme of Sonic Underground to Sonic Prime would be due to the settings in which both stories take place. If you think back to Sonic Underground, the bulk of its episodes, at least when I saw the few DVDs of Sonic Underground that I'd owned, unfold in a city that's been overran by Robotnik and his mechanical forces. And from one of the pieces of concept art about Sonic Prime that surfaced unexpectedly a while back, we see Sonic standing in a very familiar environment, a roboticized city where Eggman's influence is noticeable everywhere you go. Of course, keep in mind that's concept art, not the final product, which could very well differ from what we've seen in the concept art. But I find it likely that there won't be that many differences, personally. It's also not to suggest that the story be completely equal, but they may share some aspects, because if you remember, WildBrain owns a catalog that was developed by DIC, which includes all 3 of the 90s Sonic cartoons, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, Sonic Saturn, and of course, Sonic Underground. So it wouldn't be terribly surprising if they did take some inspiration from any of those cartoons when drawing up the storyboard for Sonic Prime. But anyway, here's a burning question that we've all been asking for a while now. What is going on with Sonic Prime? My answer? I don't freaking know. The only ones who do know what's happening are SEGA and WildBrain. But from where I stand, it looks like Sonic Prime might have entered the same state of limbo that Sonic Origins is in right now, with some key differences. Unlike Sonic Origins, Sonic Prime actually has a logo, which continues to receive updates, according to the latest Twitter job posting from WildBrain, which we'll get back to later on. The changeable logo are not that significant, but if you compare these two versions of the logo side by side, you can definitely spot the differences. I like how it looks now, but I also like how it looked before, so whichever is better or worse, I'll leave it up to you to judge. But yeah, at least Sonic Prime has a logo, and we also know the basic premise of its storyline. Essentially, Sonic Prime is set to take place across a multiverse that contains different interpretations of Sonic's world. So we can look forward to seeing different versions of Sonic and Company, like Game Sonic, Movie Sonic, Boom Sonic, and so on and so forth. Heck, they might even cook up new interpretations of Sonic's character altogether, which is definitely intriguing to think about. And just the fact that this promises to cover different interpretations of Sonic's world gives me reason to hope that this show will draw upon the lore established by the Sonic games, however inconsistent it might be. I don't think we've had a show that's done that since Sonic X, where a handful of its episodes directly reference the events of Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2. It might not surprise you to hear this, but those episodes of Sonic X were by far my favorite, man. You can probably tell like the Sonic Adventure series, right? Actually, let me correct myself. I'm 100% sure that we'll see different variants of Sonic. I mean, we're already seeing one of Amy. Does anyone here remember that screenshot of Jungle Warrior Amy? Oh my lord! Again, this is concept art, so it's something that might either be kept or scrapped from Sonic Prime, but I have to wonder what brought this about. And finally, I can't remember the exact article where I picked up on this, but Sonic Prime does have a release window, fall 2022. But just like the holiday 2022 release window with Sonic Frontiers, that one strikes me as tentative, as if they aren't entirely sure if it will come out during that time frame. It might not. Ultimately, I don't know. Things can change during production, things that you either expect or don't expect. It's a wild animal like that. Also, one thing I almost forgot to mention when making this video, The multiverse in which Sonic Prime is set to take place is called the Shatterverse. Why it's called that? Well, we're never told why, but the term was dropped during last year's Sonic Central by Joe Kelly from Man of Action Entertainment, a company that's working in conjunction with WildBrain to produce Sonic Prime. And that's pretty much the extent of everything we know about Sonic Prime. If memory serves, it's been almost a year since it was last brought up, and we haven't heard any additional information about it since. If we're gonna be hearing more about Sonic Prime, it probably won't be until well after the Sonic movie sequel drops next month. Which makes sense, because oversaturation is the last thing you want when your franchise is taking off. Like I said at the start of the video, we have 4 different pieces of Sonic media coming our way this year. Origins, Frontiers, Prime, and the Sonic movie sequel. Talking about all of them at once might run the risk of people getting too familiar with Sonic that they become bored with him, and you absolutely don't want that at a time where Sonic is taking over the world, much like how he did in the 90s. Of course, the words "I'm tired of Sonic" will never leave my mouth, nor will they form in my brain, and I'm sure there are those of you out there that are just like me in that respect. But still, the point stands. Actually, thinking about it, Sonic Prime probably will not be next on the list of priority for SEGA to keep in mind after the Sonic movie sequel, because they've already begun putting out the word about Sonic Frontiers, even though information on that is fairly limited as well. We only know the basic premise of it, just like with Sonic Prime, and that's about it. I would expect to hear more about the movie sequel and Frontiers in the months to come, before we start talking about Sonic Prime. That's my prediction anyway, you're free to agree or disagree with that. But while we're in the business of making predictions, I've got another one to throw out there for you guys. Let's go back to WildBrain's job listings from their Twitter account. I brought this post up for 2 reasons. The first was to show off the updated logo for Sonic Prime, which I think looks cool as heck. And the other was due to a concern that came to mind when I saw not only this post, but others just like this one. Now, this is nothing unusual. People get fired, people's contracts expire, or whatever else happens that results in job openings at companies. It's nothing unusual whatsoever. But part of why this is concerning me is because I've seen them set aside posts specifically for positions on their team working on Sonic Prime, not 1 time, not 2 times, but 3 times. Actually, technically more than that, because they put out a wider variety of posts consisting of job openings for more than 1 show, because they aren't just working on Sonic Prime, you know. But by now they put aside a small handful of posts made specifically for Sonic Prime. The first of these posts came up back during August 2021, well after Sonic Central had happened, and a member of Man of Action Entertainment came on board to explain what exactly we can expect from Sonic Prime. The second post came out during November 2021, and the last and latest post from WildBrain on the subject came up just this month. It's that post that sparked this discussion that we're having in this video right now. So why does this concern me, you might be asking? Well, here's why. When a show is announced to be in production, you'd want to have a team locked in for it, correct? But what if you suddenly become short-staffed during production? Wouldn't that open up the possibility for shows to be delayed from their initial release windows? I might be ignorant on this sort of thing, but I'm pretty sure it's happened before. However, I will admit right here and now that I have never worked in the animation industry, so I'm definitely ignorant to this sort of thing. But I have worked as a freelance journalist, and while it's not the same as working as an animator, I'd be surprised if both industries weren't largely freelancer and carried their fair share of risks. If there's a harsh lesson I've learned as a freelance writer back then, it's this. When you get one position, don't get comfortable with it. You should be ready to look for others, because the one you have right now might not last forever. They rarely ever do, actually. Whether you're working for a company, or simply offering services to one person, the risks are one and the same. It's a constantly shifting environment out here. And like every other company, WildBrain faces those same risks. But even then, looking at everything that's unfolding so far, it's all just not aligning in my head right now. Like, think about it. There's been a lot of hype surrounding Sonic Prime since it was first announced, and then when it was given the spotlight at Sonic Central. Common TV shows tend to have that effect, you know? But ever since then, they've been eerily silent about it, except to mention job openings whenever they came up. And with us rapidly approaching the release window of fall 2022, I find myself asking, What's going on exactly? Is everything going okay? Are they falling behind production schedule? Like, what is happening? But although I am partly a news channel, the only piece of concrete news I have to share here is that WildBrain's on the hunt for people wanting to help out with Sonic Prime. And if you do have any of the skill that they mentioned in their job listings, I encourage you to apply and see what happens. But that's it. Whether or not Sonic Prime will proceed as planned or will be delayed or worse yet cancelled, although I don't think that's going to happen, I can't tell you anything solid about that. I can only make guesses like the rest of you are. So as such, don't take this video as some kind of gloom and doom prophecy about Sonic Prime not turning out good or bad or whether it's going to happen at all. That's not what I'm out trying to accomplish. At the end of the day, I'm here to facilitate discussion. Honestly, I might have hit the nail on the head earlier when I explained about SEGA wanting to avoid oversaturation for Sonic. Right now we have a movie coming up, so they'll obviously want us to be focused on that, and then Sonic Frontiers is set to follow. I know it's all the Sonic Origins, but that does consist of re-released content, so it might not be that high up on Sega's list of priorities, which would explain why they haven't said much about it. Although on my list, it's definitely higher up, because I came to the Sonic series because of the Genesis classics. But like many of you, I'm hoping that they plan to do good for the classics. But assuming my concerns about things going in a way other than what was planned for Sonic Prime are to be unfounded, this would make sense. We got so much coming up for Sonic, but rather than take it all in at once, let's take it one step at a time. I guess what I'm trying to say is, rather than jump to conclusions, try to look at situations from multiple angles, because sometimes things are not always so cut and dry like that. Besides, with all the popularity surrounding Sonic, I highly doubt that SEGA and WildBrain are going to just let Sonic Prime be a memory a la Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII. It's not going anywhere. One day it'll hit the airwaves. I can't tell you when, but I know that it will. For now though, we've got a movie coming up, so let's worry about that before anything else. And that there is my outlook on what's going on with Sonic Prime. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed what you saw, let me know your thoughts with your likes and comments down below. I'm always eager to hear from you guys on what you think of my content and what I can possibly do to improve it. And if you did enjoy my content, I would appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and rang that bell to stay up to date on everything that I put out there. And should anything else happen for the Sonic franchise, like with the movie sequel, Sonic Frontiers, or whatever, I will definitely be around to give my thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Until then, peace out. Blue blurs for life. I'll see you in the Shadowverse.